Brian Jones and Cody Gates are together tonight. You said
hanging out. Yeah,
that's trouble.
that's cool though. Like it fills me with joy knowing that guys are hanging out. Like the friendships didn't all die when we left the ship.
I'm really stoked that I found Captain Wells.
That was crazy. I was really surprised. Now, how did you find that guy? Like, what was the process behind that?
Well, do you know how you go on Facebook and there's this row where it's like people that you might know?
Yeah, he was on there.
I'll just scrolling through it, and all of a sudden Robert Wells. I was like, wait a second,
He looks familiar.
Robert Wells. He looks familiar. I looked in the cruise book. I was like, Captain. Oh my god. So I
You didn't know him by his look? Come on, man. It's only been 20 years.
I asked him to be my friend, and he said, "Yeah, why not?"
Oh,
so
where's
his photo?
I don't know.
No, Cody. You said Cody's with Brian?
Yeah, look on the 04 Level page. Look in the messenger side of it.
The messenger side of 04 Level Aft.
Where do if we don't? Oh, there it is. If we don't do this enough, I tend to lose my memory of how to do it. I wish I could bust this open in two. We're live. Oh yeah, I was going to link it over. I'm going to do that.
There he is.
I'm going to pull up on the Facebook page that we're doing the live and put it on my personal Facebook while we're waiting on stuff.
Well, I got to tell you, both Brian and Cody do look good.
They do. Well, Cody better look good. He's a commanding officer of a ship.
Ooh, he's a CO, huh?
Or he was.
All I gotta say is whoops.
Dude, I'm so proud that people I know are doing great things like that, Like I always feel like a loser anyway, but then when there's people that I know that are commanding officers of ships and master chiefs and retiring as chiefs and senior chiefs, I feel like a loser.
Why? I guarantee you one thing, my friend. I guarantee if you stayed in as long as Cody has, it's been over 20 years, and gone the officer route, you'd be a commanding officer. Absolutely.
Nah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe.
Absolutely.
I got told one time that I'll never, what type of say that? I got told one time I'll never make E6 if I don't lose my accent.
You know what I say to that? That's phooey.
Well, I didn't.
Well, you got out before you were able to, right?
That's true. Yeah. Okay. Boop. Okay. I got it loaded up on my Facebooky page.
You know what I got to do? I got to get those earbuds like you got.
These are actually Apple.
All right.
Yep. And I have so I have the ones that plug into the lightning port, and I have these right here because these plug in. You'll need. I'll just unplug I can't hear myself. You'll need one of these. That way you can
an adapter,
and then you can put it in your headphone jack of that little mixer, and then
we call that very nice.
It is nice. I like it. I'm trying to look and see while we're waiting. So you had surgery since we last chatted. So how are you feeling? What's going on?
I'm feeling fantastic.
Did they take a load off?
It took a load right off, man. It wasn't serious. It was just
crap,
unexpected. Whoa, what'd you do? Fart?
The Mets won 12-6.
Nice. I'm so upset that Cleveland actually routed the Yankees yesterday.
They did.
It should have been over.
I want to say this. I don't. You know me. I don't mince words. I do not like the Yankees. Never have. But whatever. I don't want a Subway Series because there's no way it'll be the quality that the 2000 Subway Series was. And maybe that's just my brain. But
It's true. I
Roger
mean,
Clemens, Mike Piazza,
yeah,
uh,
Derek
Mariano
Jeter.
Rivera, Derek Jeter,
Yeah,
they're not
yeah,
there. So it's like, who cares? Like
right.
I'm getting to a point where I care less and less about watching um, baseball, which is really weird because I loved baseball. Absolutely.
I think a lot of baseball nowadays is just sluggers. I mean
Yeah.
the days of Derek Jeter hitting a double and sending two guys home are kind of like over. Everyone's expecting a grand
Yeah.
slam or a home run. It's crazy. It's nuts. But I'm hoping that New York actually does it. I'm not a Mets fan though. I'm more Yankees than anything. So
Melissa's back. Back
hi
again.
Missy. Missy's in the house. How things going?
Uh, well, she spelled y'all funny. Is that how y'all spell y'all up there in New York? So listen to this.
Yeah.
The other day, I
What?
was my
Makes
phone.
sense.
My phone has finally started learning me. It just don't understand my accent when I'm doing text, voice texting, and it the other day I punched in y'all's with the S, right? I pluralized y'all, and it gave me Y apostrophe ALS or ALL apostrophe S.
Bruce is here. So wait, y'all is plural anyway.
No, well,
You
it's not.
all y'all is kind of
No,
like a
no.
plural.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Plural,
So how
but
can you pluralize a
it
plural
gave it.
word?
You're right. You're right. It's not plural. It's giving it possession. So y'all's, and so it gave it apostrophe S. So there's two apostrophes in that word. It's so funny. I want to type it over here. So,
Y'all's. Okay. Yeah. Well,
but my phone now memorizes it. So
Brian's here.
let's see. I want to post it up there. See how long it takes it to. Yeah.
Y'all's.
See, like there. See y'all's. Type it in there.
It's like pluralizing a plural word. I don't know
It's
if
not
that's
plural. It's giving possession to the group.
right. But the word itself, if you break it down, you all, y'all's. It's Brian. Is that like balls? Balls.
No, it's not like balls.
Balls. I don't know. That's very interesting. I wonder if that's like
It's
a
yeah.
true word, like a real word. Y'all's.
Well, all words are made up at some point, so why not? It seems like I got in trouble for saying "ain't" in school. Like, there's no word, "ain't's" not a word, and like, well, you just said it, so haha,
One word I
And
like to use that is not a word is betterer.
better,
Like that's betterer. That's better
And
than anything. Yeah.
edited has been a really difficult word for me to say lately. I've been practicing it, so
Edited.
just edited it,
It's kind of fun to say.
edited
Edited.
it,
Edited.
edited it. So I did. Uh, come on, Brian. I just put this on my personal page, and he's over there talking OS on us.
Oh gosh.
So I was talking to the other day. I was asking some guys about some stuff, and it turned out that um, the DDRT snake is definitely not a Lake Champlain only thing. I heard about that. It's pretty funny. What I got? Chime in. Let us know who's watching. Yeah, I got that on there.
So
That's
we
pretty cool. I can do this
this
little thing. Like boop boop. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Brian. You don't have to say you're sorry. We know, bro. We know to
We know you're
expect
sorry.
from
We
Brian
know you're
Dell.
sorry. Now apologies. Woo! Sorry.
But we are going to be talking about our top 10 war movies today.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Dude, what we need is some feedback
DDRR.
from you guys. Chris Gunter's in the house, man.
Oh man, Chris.
Dude, I was looking at your Facebook page the other day. Your kids, I don't know. I think they're your kids. Your boys, I think they play football. They're looking good, man. Looking really good. And
So
the
Brett Favre.
Yankees are
Brett
winning
Favre
3-2.
said. Brett Favre said, "Stop letting kids play football."
Brett Favre?
Brett Favre.
Why? Because he's been diagnosed with the shakes.
Parkinson's, and I don't know. Something to think about. I wouldn't. So the funny thing is, like growing up, I wasn't allowed to play football because there was a kid who died on the football field somewhere like in Inca, Canton, North Carolina. And my mom's like, "You're not playing football." So she let me play baseball, which I think hurt my body more than football ever would have because I probably I feel like I got hurt. Underwood.
Chris is here. What's up, buddy?
That's Chris
Football
Underwood.
and lacrosse. Jay.
So which one was Underwood? Underwood was GM or the
Yeah, he was good as mate. Yep,
okay, that's right.
absolutely.
Chief Self, how you
Chief
doing?
Self is in the house.
So I want to tell I want to tell a Chief Self story since he's listening. I'm first of all, I want to apologize.
Brian's talking crap already.
Yeah, probably, but Brian. But anyway, so I was really bad. And I still am kind of bad. I'm a little better at it now. That if I know something's bothering if I know it bothers you to do something, then there's a really good chance that I'm going to do it again. And
Broken the bear.
accidentally said Roger that one time, and Chief Self and CSMC chewed me out and said, "We're not an army, and we don't say Roger that." And
Roger
so
that.
I would say it. I would say it just to get him fired up, especially like over the phone or whatever over the net. And so now my job, I work with power lines, and so we use the radio in the trucks a lot to talk. And every time I say Roger that, I think it's Chief Self every time. So I curse myself. but anyway, so it's good to see you on there. I will always call you Chief. I'm sorry, I will never call you John. That's the last time I'll do that. That's
Yeah,
I don't know why.
I won't
That's gonna be
cross
really
that line
hard.
either.
Yeah,
I won't cross that line either. But I mean, Brian Delheimer, he's a chief, but we didn't know him as a chief.
No,
so we can't call him chief. We didn't know him as a chief.
No, and I asked him because years ago I talked to him. I said, "I can't believe they let you be a chief," and he goes, "I can't believe they let you be a preacher." I'm like, "Yeah, that's true. I'll give you that." Like, that's a really good point.
Oh man! All right, so what's your number 10? Let's talk about this.
So
We're going to start this list. Do you want to go like one at a time?
Oh
like
yeah.
10, I give my 10. Okay.
Let me do this. I'm trying to change the little thingies. I can look see, chime in, let us know, and then war movies. Okay, so I'm just playing. Let's have fun. So I want to preface this by saying that this is my opinion of my favorite movies. However, I did not have enough spots to put all of my favorite movies on here. Some of these movies are my favorite movies because they're just that good, and some of these movies might not be that good, but they're my favorites because I loved watching them like with my papa and stuff like that. So, I just want to throw that out there. So number 10, you ready? John Wayne, Green Berets.
You went old school.
I got a bunch of
old school. Okay.
Green Berets was it had a really iconic song in it, and it was like it was such a good movie. I mean, it might not have been the best movie, but it's probably one of my favorite John Wayne movies. And A True Grit's the best John Wayne movie, but like it was such a good movie, and it came out during the war. The war was going on, and they put that movie out. So it was a Vietnam War movie, and not my favorite Vietnam War movie, but Green Berets is my number 10.
My Mike Murphy, how are you, buddy? I think that number 10 is a good thing, but I don't think that True Grit was John Wayne's best movie.
I didn't say his best. I said my favorite.
Oh, gotcha. But
I know
to me, his favorite was the shootist. The shooter. I mean, that's the best.
Shootist.
I
don't know. That's hard. I'd have to do some research to come up with that movie, that list. But I love True Grit because I read the book, and then the movie. Then I watched the original movie, and it was just like it clicked, like as I had a teacher that was like, "You need to read," and I'm like, "I hate reading." He said, "We need to find something that you can read and you would enjoy," and he brought True Grit, and so I read it, and because I could really get into it, and then so therefore it's a John Wayne movie, and so it's really good. Rooster Cogburn, I mean, that's a great movie. But
yeah, I had a certain movie at number 10, but I crossed it off because you said it earlier. It's more like a love movie. Pearl Harbor. It is really. It's like it's it is. But I think I replaced Pearl Harbor with the Sands of Iwo Jima.
Ooh, see, that's another great John Wayne movie.
Yes,
That
yes.
like
It's the only old movie that I have on my list. But
really okay.
yes, yep.
Yeah, it's a great movie. I actually looked at the list. So what I did is I Googled like World War II movies, looked at all the World War II movies, and I looked at Vietnam movies. And there's not a lot of Korea War movies. There's a few, but I just didn't know them, so I didn't want to put them on the list because I didn't know if they were any good. So, but yeah,
Chiefs got a good one, bud. Green Berets.
Yep. Green Berets. That's what I said. Green Berets is my number 10. Number 12, old school movie. Excuse me, not number 12. Number 9, old school movie is The Dirty Dozen. Another old World War II movie, which is a really cool because it had like an ensemble cast, and the way they did it was so cool. It had a young Donald Sutherland, it had Charles Bronson, and like it was all these like really famous people, and of course it had the worst death scene of all time, where the one guy got shot. Fell. But it was like, but the Dirty Dozen was so cool because if you think about like here's a bunch of guys that are basically just rejects, prisoners, and useless people, and they just threw them together and put them into a mission. And if they died, they died. But if they won, they won. And and it really makes your brain wonder: did they ever really do that? Because if they made a movie about it, they really did. It was just to me, it was a great movie. Dirty Dozen's my number 9. What you got?
My number 9 is Saving Private Ryan.
Ooh,
I love that movie. Yes, I do like that movie. I know they kind of like just put it just saving one person throughout the movie, but
yeah, so much to that movie.
That
movie. I got that one deeper on higher on my list, but
Derek Smith's in the house, man. He's a buddy of mine that sent me this. Remember this?
The Huskers.
Our last podcast, I had this one on.
Yeah.
Yep. He's from Nebraska. He's my buddy from boot camp.
Ooh, I don't have any of my connections from boot camp. So, what you got? Number 8.
Number 8, I put Platoon. Love that movie.
Ooh, yes. I didn't even think of that movie.
Yep.
I didn't even
love
remember
that movie.
That's a great movie.
Mm-hmm. Scenes in there were awesome.
Who was in that? I'm trying to remember who was in that. Yes.
Joe's in the house. Joe K's here.
It's on my list, Joe.
What about 8?
For me, number 8. Okay, so I'm going way back. It's okay. So I love this movie. Being from the South, we kind of hyper focus stuff, but Gods and Generals was such a good movie.
Yep.
Because it was like a mini series. It was like a list of. It was like 4 or 5 hours. But Gods and Generals was so good because just the acting on both sides, the story that it told, they took so much time making sure they told both stories. It wasn't just a Southern movie. It wasn't just a Northern movie. It was both. You had the guy who played Stonewall Jackson, the guy who played Grant. It was just such those people took the time and really put their heart into it. And I've always enjoyed that movie. And Ted Turner is one that funded it, and it was really cheap. Oh, car drove by really loud. It was funded really cheap, and man, it was just crazy. So I enjoyed that movie. So Gods and Generals is my number 8. That's one of my favorite movies. If it's on TV, I'm going to watch it.
Always.
Number 7. Is that what you're about to ask me?
Yeah, what you got for number 7? What, Brian? Yeah, it was a little longer than Malcolm X.
It was a great movie, though. Malcolm X was a great movie, too. So I wrote Fury. I like that movie. That movie had a different angle than most. Listen, 10 is not enough. I can do probably a top 25 and still feel like I have left some good movies out. So I'm just saying, Fury was. I love that scene in Fury when they're all like hunkering down, knowing that they're coming, and they turn that tank that way. It's just like, man, I mean, I know what's about to happen. I've seen that movie so many times, and
I'm
yet I
not
still get anticipate. I'm like, oh, here we go. What's going to happen?
I'm not a Brad Pitt fan, but he played a really good part in that movie. I
Yeah,
gotta say
Brad
that.
Pitt. I'm not a Brad Pitt fan, but he is a good actor. You know, like I enjoy a lot of his movies,
Mhm.
and a lot of his movies I enjoy because he's a good actor in them. So
Right.
Snatch is one of the greatest movies he's ever been in. Snatch is one of my that's some, and he did such a good job in that movie. If I
It's
ever
funny
get to
that
meet him,
Brian
I'll
said
tell him.
that. It's funny that Brian just said that because you and I were talking about that before we
Yeah,
started the live about Afghanistan or Iraq. I told John not much of the recent wars, the movies that I have on my list because I really haven't watched much of
right,
them. There's only a few movies of them. Well, maybe more than I think. I
right.
don't know. But Black
There,
Hawk
now,
Down definitely would be on the list, but I only saw
yeah, that was
half of the
really
movie.
nice.
You know,
And
so
so the Iraq Afghanistan stuff, it there are movies, and it's just I'm not the I haven't watched a lot of them, and so
yeah.
I'm just gonna be err on the side of caution and not put them on the list. So that's the only reason. No,
But I will
it wasn't
definitely start
because
watching them.
it wasn't because they weren't good. There's one I keep seeing clips of, and I want to try to find it. It's got Jake Gyllenhaal in it, and there's like a guy that like they're trying to go through like this ravine, and the guys and an interpreter's like, whoa, wait, there's something not right about this, and they send snipers up and they like find it like, and I've seen that clip over and over again, but I've never watched the movie. I don't even know what it's called. So, Black Hawk Down was one of the greatest movies, and I forgot to put it on the list. So,
Well, Brian just corrected
love
us. It
you,
has nothing to
love
do with Afghanistan or Iraq. It was Africa. So there's so much I know. So
Somalia. Yeah, I remember.
yeah.
I actually
Mhm.
remember when that happened.
Hmm.
So, go ahead. What you got? Number 7.
Number 7 of mine is one of my favorites, Full Metal Jacket. I love Full Metal Jacket.
That's my number 6.
It's oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Pretty
Joe
close.
mentioned it. Joe K's like Full Metal Jacket. Full Metal Jacket is one.
Messed up
So,
movie.
so they filmed the war part first and the boot camp second.
Yep.
And like if you listen to how that was filmed and all this chaos they went through, and they said stuff in that movie they could never ever say again. Like just like,
Well, some of the Adam
ooh,
Sandler movies from the
Covenant.
90s
That's
they
it.
can't say
Yeah.
anymore.
What's up, Vinny? How you doing, sir?
Vin and Low.
Um,
How you doing, bud?
I need to get up with you if you want us to do the advertisement. I need to get up with you if you're serious, and we'll do it. Full Metal Jacket was so cool because um, it was like early '80s. It was filmed early '80s, so it's still kind of fresh out of the war, and they it was really neat. And it was what's kind of neat is that the Full Metal Jacket had a bunch of nobodies in it, but then a lot of them went on and did like really big stuff. It's kind of cool. Like the guy, not Joker, the guy, was it Snowball? One that killed himself? Private Snowball. No,
Yeah.
Snowball was a black dude. What was the guy's name? Ate the jelly donut. What was his name?
What the hell is that? A jelly donut?
Memphis Belle. Okay, so I didn't put Memphis Belle on that list, and because I'm telling you, there's just the list is way too big. Memphis Belle came out in like 90 or 91, and we had a guy take us to that movie, and he was the grandfather of a
It was a
kid
good
that was in
movie.
my class. So I was in the 6th grade. I remember being in 6th grade, and there was a kid in my class, Pyle. Yes, thank
Comer
you.
Pyle, yep.
There was a kid in my class whose grandfather flew those type of planes in World War II, and he took us to watch that movie. And that's the first time I saw an old man cry watching the movie. That was kind of scary because I didn't know what was going on. Like,
It's up, PJ. PJ.
Private Pyle.
This guy's son, his name's Joey. He's a hell of a fighter. He's actually going overseas to fight. Where PJ? Where's Joey gonna go fight? Kickboxer. Very good kickboxer. He's called the Iceman.
So you sent me that picture of you and the kickboxer. Was that in Thailand?
That was in Thailand. Yeah, that was year
Did you get in
2000.
a ring? Didn't you get in a ring?
I tried to get in the ring, but they wouldn't fight me. They wouldn't fight me because I don't know. I don't know. They didn't. I wanted to fight, but they did.
I
They
remember
wouldn't.
you trying. I remember you getting in there, and I was kind of scared.
Vienna. Yes, he's
What
going
if
to
he
Vienna.
dies? What if he
So,
dies? What if I watch Jay die?
what if Jay gets killed by this
What if a
by this
Muay
Muay
Thai?
Thai fighter? Well, you know me back in the day, bro. You know I had a couple drinks in me. Nothing was going to hurt me. I
Oh
tried
yeah,
to tackle
yeah.
an elephant for crying out loud in Thailand. That didn't go over too well.
Stay on the hills. Yes, he was, and he was in a lot of other stuff. He Private Pile was in his Bruce. The Bruce said that he was in Men in Black. He was in there's a TV show CSI Criminal Intent. He was like the main guy in that, and it's just like you don't even realize it's him. It's kind of funny, but he gained a bunch of weight for that. If you've never seen, if I'm telling you, if you've never seen the documentary behind the making of Full Metal Jacket, it's worth it. It's as good as the movie to me. You know, like
Right.
how they got all them in there.
So, R. Lee Ermey was his name, right?
Sorry, wait, hold on. Pat said they knew the Bills went to Super Bowl 4 times and lost. Sorry, off topic.
Oh, jeez.
What is he talking about? Is
I
that a
don't
dig
know.
on you or something?
I think Pat's been doing a little tonight. It's Friday night.
him and Brian
But-
Dolheimer are like,
PJ, dude, I'm actually. I just want to take this minute to say I'm really rooting for Joey over in Vienna. You know, he's wearing the red, white, and blue, and he's fighting for America. So he's going for the gold. I hope he does well, brother. And I'll see you probably the 9th of November when he fights here at the Palace. I'll be there. Sean and I will be there. But
awesome.
give Joey our best. Yeah.
Is he a Muay Thai or is he more of American
Mixed
style?
martial artist. He's a
Okay.
mixed martial artist. Yeah. I'll put some stuff on Facebook and you guys can follow him, everybody. And
Yeah. Post it up there. At least we can follow along.
yeah,
So how
he's
do you know
gonna-
this guy? How do you know PJ?
PJ is the father of Joey the fighter, but they go to a place called Impact Martial Arts here in Liverpool, New York, and I met him because my son Cody goes there.
Okay. So he's not military. That's just your friend.
No,
Okay,
yep,
okay.
he's just a buddy. And yeah, he's not military at all. So
Well,
Brian,
we're
4 bottles of
sorry,
wine.
PJ. We're sorry that you know Jay. Sorry. 4 bottles.
But yeah, I want to actually go
not
back
had wine since my wedding day. I have not had wine since my wedding day, and I hated it, and I haven't touched it since. So 24 years, no, because I could not stand the way it tasted. I remember at Adam Hardy's wedding, I took a sip of champagne and I spit it back in. I'm like, oh my Lord, what's wrong with that? And they're like, that's the way it's supposed to taste. And I'm like, I'm good. I don't want that stuff no more. So
I actually
anyway,
want to go back to Chief Self. He mentioned that he thinks that Iraq, Afghanistan movies are so accurate and inaccurate at the same time because of modern media, cameras, phones, etc. I really wish we can get him on the phone right now so we can explain why.
I gotta figure out how to get you the ability to like that.
Look at that.
I can do it. There's got to be a way for you to be a controlling part of this. I have to see. I have the.
You don't want me to control anything, brother.
Well, so
You're
you
good.
can see that. Like, hey,
You're
you know,
good.
like, hey, let's bring that up. Okay, so Bruce wrote down Forrest Gump. I'm going to say no to Forrest Gump because in the criteria that we talked about earlier for war movies is Forrest Gump has war in it. It's not a war movie.
No, it's him trying
it
to
has football
chase
in it.
Jenny
You
around
wouldn't call it a
forever.
football movie. So, in it, you know what I'm saying? He played football. It's not a football movie. So, like, that's part of my personal criteria. Like we said earlier, if you guys weren't on with this list of top 10 war movies, for me, it's a lot of it is my personal preference, and it could be simply because it's a good movie, or it could be because I enjoyed watching it with my papa when I was a kid, kind of thing.
Yes.
So I don't even know what number we're on because I said Full Metal Jacket was my number 6. So what do you got for 6? Full Metal Jacket. Still love that movie.
My number 6 is We Were Soldiers.
Such a good movie.
Bruce
Bruce
Taylor said We Were Soldiers too.
I love that because, well, first of all, any movies that are true stories, Hacksaw Ridge is on there. Yes, perfect. Tropic Thunder. I almost wrote that on there as a joke. Any movie that's true gives a totally different element to it. It comes from a real life deal. We Were Soldiers. The story behind that, just man, it's so cool. Cavalry. I actually, I didn't know this because I was Navy and I wasn't around Army. But so, like when we think cavalry, we think of the horses and all that stuff. Well, they disbanded that, and then they, of course, and We Were Soldiers was the first cav unit to come back around, and they just used helicopters instead of what's you true story anyway. Brian just like hit and miss with what he's up to. But anyway, so of course it's semi-true. We don't know everything that happened. It's still based on true story. But anyway, so a friend of mine here in DeRidder who was stationed at Fort Polk, we did this thing years ago, and I'll try to pull a picture of it up. And we're all a bunch of veterans, and we were all still able to fit in our uniforms. And so we did this like weird like Veterans Day thing at our church where we just came in uniform. So there's Air Force Marines. It was like everybody was in their dress blues, and it was so cool. And then this guy walks in with a Stetson on and spurs, and I'm like, that's so cool that y'all do that, And he goes, well, it's like a big deal to earn your spurs, Like I'm like, oh, okay. So it's neat that these guys walking around that riding helicopters are wearing spurs and Stetsons. That's pretty cool. So that's true, Bruce. It is true. I guess I could have put that into perspective. Well, you Lieutenant Dan and all that. Yeah.
All right, Chief. Yeah, that makes sense.
That's good. I'll handle it.
Yeah, Chief, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But again, to come down with 10 movies is impossible.
Right. I mean, there's so many other movies that I don't even have on the list that, the top 25, but we'd be here for 3 hours. But
you ready? Let's set them off. You ready? What about Star Wars? Where does it fit? Because that's a war movie. It's in the name. Let's fire them up now. Let's go.
12 Strong. I have not seen that movie yet, but I've heard stories about it. I've heard it's a very good movie, and I think I'm actually gonna write that down.
He said 13 hours too. I haven't seen that one. I don't even know what that was about. I don't know.
Tropic Thunder, though, man. I mean, I love that movie. Robert Downey Jr. plays such a good part in that movie.
Yep. So what were we at?
Playing a dude disguised as another dude. That's just great. That's my favorite. I'm a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude.
Jack Black and all them, they did such a good job in that movie.
They did.
So where we at? We at number 5?
We are at number 5. Go for it, brother.
So I've only seen this movie once, and I saw it recently, but I was just so impressed with it that it just rocked. I was just sitting there watching it, and it was like I had to get up and watch it. I couldn't sit down and watch it. I had to get up. In 1917. Have you seen that movie?
Yeah,
dude.
Thrice.
And I was like, dude,
I've always wanted to use that word. Thrice. I've seen it thrice.
I was in the middle of watching it, and I'm like, wait a minute, is this just like one long filming? And then so I like paused the movie to read about it, and like it was, man, such a good movie. It was so well. The practice, and they said they rehearsed for months, but because there's three different filmings, there's 3 different scenes, and they ran the film the whole way, and there's and the way they did it was like everybody had to like be in complete. Everybody had to be completely like trained for that. It was so good. 1917 is probably. I mean, number 5 probably doesn't do it justice.
Joe said it right. Joe just said it's effing amazing. It is true. In Harm's Way, Chief. I've seen that. It's not on my top 10. I really wish I would have remembered that because that's a really good movie too.
Before you say your number 5, let's recap for people who might have missed the first part.
All right, let's recap.
My number 10 is Green Berets. Or John Wayne movie. Vietnam. What'd you have?
Mine was Sansa Iwo Jima.
So both John Wayne movies. Number 9 for me was Dirty Dozen.
Mine was Saving
Gettysburg,
Private
great
Ryan.
movie. Number 8 was Gods and Generals, Civil War movie. But
Mine
he
was
wrote
Platoon.
Gettysburg on there. That's a great movie too. What was your number 8? I'm sorry, I talked over you.
Mine was Platoon, the
Great,
Vietnam War movie. Yep.
great movie. I had number 7, Fury. That's what
Mine
I
was
put
Full
down.
Metal Jacket, another Vietnam movie.
And my number 6 was Full Metal Jacket.
My
But a lot of these can interchange.
number 6 was We Were Soldiers, which Mel Gibson did a great job. That's a
Bro,
great movie.
dude, Samuel L. Jackson was in that movie. What's you talking
I
about?
know.
Yeah.
It's like hardcore.
Yeah. And you know that the idea that the Western Union delivering the notices that people were dead,
Mhm.
you know, they had stopped doing that after World War II. In real life, they had stopped doing the chaplains because there were so many people dying.
Yeah.
And in Korea, they just kind of got into doing it that way. And then so when Vietnam come around, those women actually had it changed to where they stopped doing it with the uh, Western Union. Imagine
Right.
being that guy having to hand it to your wife or to a woman and not. I couldn't handle
Dude, that'd be terrible. That'd actually be terrible. I wouldn't want that job at all.
So my number 5 was 1917. What you got for number 5?
My number 5 was Gettysburg.
Great movie.
Dude, Tom Berenger, he did great. He did a great job in Platoon, but he did a 10 times better job in Gettysburg. You had Martin Sheen, you had Stephen Lang, Sam Elliott was in that movie. Sam Elliott right there is just, that movie. I can watch that movie all day, over and over. I love that movie. Great movie.
Vinny, I guess we were a Band of Brothers in the Pacific tends to fall more into a series, and Band of Brothers is fantastic. It's a really good, and I never watched it until like 2 or 3 years ago. So, Cadence is a military movie, not a war movie. That's why I didn't put it on there. Plus, I'm not a huge fan of that movie. Look, I got tattoos on my fist. It's kind of cool, but like, I mean, I really thought about putting Hot Shots Part 2 on there because it's a war movie, but let's not be disrespectful, right?
Was Vinny taken off?
That's what I think he said that. So stop.
What? Vinny, thanks for showing up, brother. Love you, man.
Sir. Hey, if you're still on, text me or message me about the thing we talked about a few months ago. But
Derek, your nephews are in bed. They actually were talking to John before we went to live. Cody had a headset on and everything like that, and he was talking to John.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, hey, it says wars in the title, Brian. And
it's true.
Anyway, but it's got more other stories in it. That was just a joke. So you said number 5 is Gettysburg. So what you got for number 4?
Number 4 is I think it was your number 5, 1917.
Okay.
That definitely was in top 5. 1917.
I'm not gonna lie. There was a part of me that tried to write names down here that I knew you wouldn't get.
Really?
Like a little bit, like a little bit of the draft idea. Like I want to draft somebody that you're not thinking about.
Gotcha.
1917 is a fantastic movie. If you've never seen it, go watch it. It's great.
Please do.
And it's such a weird. I don't even know if it won any awards. I don't pay attention to that crap.
Yeah.
But I don't. Oh, I missed my thing. Hold on, I got to put my caption back on here. Boom, top 10 war movies. Get this back up where we can see it. Good Luck Hunting. Good Luck Hunting. I've never heard. Delta Force. Delta Force is a fantastic movie. Delta Farce was even funnier. So Rambo First Blood.
Rambo Hot Shots.
Rambo First Blood Part 2. The original Rambo is probably in my top 10 movies of all time. Or First Blood. But First Blood Part 2 goes back to the war zone and just kicks butt. I know, and it's one of them movies that I just love it because I was a kid and I was watching it. And I don't know if you remember one time on the ship, they were trying to get rid of a bunch of 7.62 rounds, and they let us shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot. And John, scroll up. What am I scrolling up for? Thailand. I don't know what that's supposed to be. I don't want to tell no Thailand stories on here. Uh, uh, anyway, so it's just one of them great movies, man. I enjoyed it, love it. I can watch it if I just turn it on its own. I'm like, I love Rambo. I love the first three. I've never the one that took place with like when he was in America and he's fighting the cop. That was kind of weird, but it was a good movie though. Not as good as First Blood. First Blood's the best, but part two is on my list, number 4.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's actually not a good, not a bad idea, bro. Missy just said we should post our lists after our streaming, so that's probably not a bad idea. So people can argue with us via, Facebook. You're wrong. Why do I have a feeling that Delheimer would be the most?
Because you're not stupid. That's why.
Pat, good night, buddy. Good talking to you, man.
Hey, Pat, get a webcam. You're coming on soon.
Yes, hurry up.
If anybody wants to be a guest, all you got to do is get a webcam, and we'll get you on here. So
yeah, absolutely. So did you
four.
do your number 3?
No, I got number 4. I did my number 4. So what'd you have?
For my number 4?
Yeah,
1917. 1917. Yeah.
So
we're on 3
number 3.
Number 3 for me. It's actually one of my favorite movies, even though it was like a B-rated movie. Not a lot. I mean, it didn't go out in theater or anything like that. It's the USS Indianapolis Men of Courage with Nicolas Cage.
I haven't seen that movie.
It's about the story of the USS Indianapolis, and those of you that don't know that aren't sailors, the Indianapolis was a ship that actually carried the bombs that we dropped on Hiroshima in World War II.
Mm-hmm.
They delivered the bombs, and on their way back, they got sunk by a Japanese submarine, and they were out in the ocean for 5 days.
Yes.
917 sailors went into the water, and 5 days later, 903 sailors went into the water that day. 5 days later, only 317 were rescued. Everybody else died either of wounds or shark attacks. So I've read a couple books on that. It's actually, dude, Ordeal by Sea is a book that I read up on the Indianapolis. Is a fantastic book. Anybody that's able to get it and read it, it's an awesome book. But dude, Brian, these are terrible. Your face is terrible.
I think he's just like
jerk.
Remember I was talking earlier about talking smack just to aggravate people?
That's Brian.
So, like, I don't have enough Navy movies on here, and I really wanted to put Greyhound on here, but I haven't seen it all to know if it's but the clips that I've seen of Greyhound is pretty cool, but I didn't put it on there just because I can't say for sure. Yes, every 4 hours. I thought about that.
Yep.
So if in the movie Jaws, the seaboat captain tells the story of the Indianapolis, and that story that he told in that movie was just he just memorized what a guy said one time that survived it. It was like an actual quote of a guy that survived that, and he did a really good job delivering that little speech there too.
Well, do you know what's really crazy is actually, because the Indianapolis was a heavy cruiser, and they needed escorts back in the days because they couldn't detect U-boats, and they were denied that because this was a special mission. No one knew that they were even there, But
you remember the ships we had to check in, like Murphy said, we had to check in every 4 hours. I can't remember what that was called. There was like a line. If we got off that line, it was like somebody will chime in with that in a minute. But like it had to be, if you were off that after so long, they had to find out where you were.
But that's one of the movies and one of the stories that I have no pride in when it comes to the military after what they did with Captain McVeigh, the captain of that ship. They brought him in and they charged him. He was found guilty.
Indianapolis?
He was charged guilty for not zigzagging. So
torpedoes that you don't even know if the submarine's down there. You're by yourself. You have no help.
He eventually killed himself, Captain McVeigh, because he couldn't get it out of his head.
Yeah,
constant visuals and people calling him all the time, giving him death threats and stuff like that. It's crazy.
It is. Friday Night
Chris, it was good
Lights.
seeing you, buddy. Thank you for showing up.
Yes, sir.
What about you, bud? What's number 3?
Hamburger Hill.
Ooh, great movie.
It is a great movie. It's also based on a true story.
Mhm.
Make sure I say based on a true story. I don't know how loose it is. I was looking at it here. I Googled it a minute ago. It says the Battle of Hamburger Hill was a 10-day battle that took place in May of 1969 during the Vietnam War. And what I was reading this like article one time years ago about where like in with Americans and British and French and all that style of war, it was about taking over the land and holding the land.
Mhm.
In Vietnam, it wasn't about holding the land, it was about destruction. And as soon as the Vietnamese would take that piece of land, then once that battle was over, they'd leave and
Yeah.
they'd relinquish that property, which was really messing with like how it says only after he died did they exonerate McVeigh.
Yeah, President Clinton exonerated him.
Oh wow.
Mhm.
But like Hamburger Hill was it's such a crazy battle. If you read about it, it's like
Oh, it's
knowing
insane.
what they went through. Yeah. You ever meet Vietnam vets that are kind of jacked up in the head, and
Oh, yeah.
you read about them battles, and you know why? Like you see exactly why. What them guys went through. Just I feel bad. So
My mother
when they
has
get
had
home,
my mother had a childhood friend who went into the army, and when he got back from Vietnam, he actually had to sleep in a room that was locked from the outside because he would find himself waking up in the middle of the night outside, like in the woods. Like it'd be
yeah,
nuts. Yeah.
right,
So it's crazy.
yeah, very sad. But um, yeah, it's one of them things where you tend to. Those
You
guys
lost your
came back from
earpiece.
those guys came back from Civil War all jacked up. They came back from Revolutionary War all jacked up, but it was a different time, different mind.
Hmm.
But it wasn't easy. Those guys didn't come back perfect.
Right.
It's just a different world, and what we deal with today's. Um, yeah, I'm. Yeah, we'll get into that some other time. But would you say you're number 3 already?
Yep. My number 3 was the USS Indianapolis. Dude,
Okay,
try to watch it if you can.
yeah,
It's
I
got
will.
Nicolas
Yeah,
Cage in it, and it's just a
yeah,
great
I've
movie.
seen the clips, so I just haven't seen
Mhm.
it. So,
Right.
so number 2, what you got?
My top 3 are just Navy movies because I'm a sailor. I love them. No, number 2 is U-571 with Matthew McConaughey.
So I looked at that, and I was really debating putting that on there, but I couldn't remember if it was good enough to. So it's been a long time since I've seen it. It said it came out in like early 1991 or 2000, 2001.
Chris Underwood. He just said 13 hours.
That's a bunch of people
That's like
said
the
that.
third one I've seen it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch that.
Yeah, 13 hours is which one is that?
13 hours and 12 strong. I gotta watch.
I want to look that up now. That everybody. Oh, 13 hours is the one with the Secret Soldiers of Benghazi. It's the guy that was John Krasinski from The Office. I have not seen that
Okay.
movie. I
Yep.
have not seen it.
I'm gonna have to watch that. Yeah, Brian, U-571 is a great movie. If you guys haven't seen it, I don't. Has anybody spent time on a submarine?
Submarine.
Chief, have you? I don't know if anybody spent any time on a submarine that's here in the chat because I wouldn't be able to do it, bro.
Do you
Sorry.
remember?
Mm-mm.
Pulling into Bombay in 2002, and there was
Yes,
that
sir.
Oscar class submarine that was anchored up on the other side?
Yes, sir. I remember that.
I think about that all the time.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Do you want a tour? Absolutely not. I'm not going in
I would have done it in a minute. We pulled along. The Salt Lake City was in our battle
Yo,
group.
Jamie. What's up, Jamie? It's my
They
sister. Everyone.
the Salt Lake City pulled alongside of us in Bahrain, and I went on that one. I walked around there, did a little tour with it.
I did too much drinking overseas, man.
Yeah, I did. I did too much drinking.
A lot.
So,
What about you? Number 2.
I put Saving Private Ryan number 2. And I'll tell you part of the reason is because um that movie came out right after boot camp for me. Like I was in A school when that movie came out. And when we went home, we showed that movie to my grandfather who was a World War II vet, and he enjoyed it.
Right.
Down Periscope is we have to make a military like funny comedy movie list, and Down Periscope and Hot Shots would be on the top of that list.
No,
Down
Bruce Taylor just said Down
Down
Periscope
Down
is one
Periscope
that's
is one of
well.
the best movies. When the guy gets electrocuted and he starts singing all weird, like, uh, but yeah, Saving Private Ryan is my number 2 favorite movie.
Derek
And
Smith. Both my grandfathers were in World War II, one Navy, other Army.
awesome.
Dude,
Stripes.
that's awesome.
Saving. Oh, almost read that out loud.
All right. So what I'd like to do before we say number one, let's
Oh, what was your
recap.
2 again? What was your 2 again?
My 2 is U-571.
Okay, yeah. And there's a bunch of honorable mentions, bunches.
Oh, a crap load. Like my honorable mention, I'm going to say right now is The Patriot with Mel Gibson. I like it. Revolutionary War. Yeah.
And you can even probably, I mean, I know there's a lot of story outside of the wars and stuff, but Braveheart's up there. You can, man, there's so many good movies.
Gone with the Wind.
I've never seen that movie.
Franklin Madeira. Dude, everywhere. Every time I watch Saving Private Ryan, I think of you, John. You remind me of the sniper when he prays.
Barry Pepper.
Nice.
Oh, that's okay. I thought you were saying that. I didn't realize that he was saying that.
No,
Barry
Chief Self.
Pepper played Dale Earnhart in the movie 3.
You know what John has to say to that, Chief? Roger that. That's what he's got to say to that. Okay. Here, I'm going to recap my list first, 10 through 2. John will do it next, and then we'll say our number ones. Okay. Right. So number 10, I have Sansa Iwo Jima, which is Mr. John Wayne.
Yep.
9 is Saving Private Ryan. 8 is Platoon. 7, Full Metal Jacket. Number 6, We Were Soldiers. Mel Gibson, awesome movie. Number 5 is Gettysburg. Number 4 is 1917. If anybody has never seen 1917, hit yourself in the head with a drywall hammer and go watch it. Number 3 is USS Indianapolis. Men of Courage, great movie with Nicolas Cage. And number 2 is U-571. That's UB40. My top. Yep, 2 through 10.
According to that picture that Dahlheimer sent us earlier, he's been UB40 red wine in it. So number 10 on my list was Green Berets, also John Wayne. It's funny that we both put a John Wayne movie at number 10. It's ironic. Number 9, Dirty Dozen. Number 8 is Gods and Generals. Great Civil War movie. If you've never seen it.
Awesome movie.
Number 7 is Fury. Number 6, Full Metal Jacket. Number 5 was 1917. Number 4 is Rambo First Blood Part 2. I love that movie. One of my favorites. Number 3 is Hamburger Hill. And number 2, I put Saving Private Ryan way higher than Jay did on his list. So that's fine. But yeah, there's so much to that movie. So good. So
awesome.
My number 1 was your honorable mention.
The Patriot?
The Patriot. Yep. And I know there's a lot of story. There's a lot of story outside of the war, so I kind of broke my own rule there. But when you watch that movie, it just like it just gets you going. Like you're like ready to go. You know, like there's I remember in A school on test day, we would always listen to the Rocky theme, you know, like before we go take a test. And it gets you all fired up to go take a test in 5 hours. You don't even get to take it right away. And but like the Patriot, like that's the kind of movie that if you know the country's about to go to the pot and we need to start fighting, this the movie you need to put on the TV and let us all go at it and go. But yeah, there's the Patriot. Man, there's so many good scenes in that movie. There's so many good stories in that movie.
Mhm.
And knowing that it wasn't a true story, but stuff like that really happened.
Right.
There was really militia. There was really guys that actually those style of militias helped win the war for the United States.
Yeah.
They don't want to say it a lot of times. The guerrilla warfare is what it
Mhm.
was, and and
It
and
was
and what was
farmers.
made, yeah, what made that movie cool is it was led by a guy who knew how to do that kind of stuff, but he was kind of hold it back. But um, Hacksaw Ridge is it's hard to beat that movie. That's a really good movie.
That's definitely an honorable mention. Hacksaw Ridge.
Yeah, should have been
Yeah.
probably on the list. American Sniper was a great movie. I remember. So the funny thing, I'm sorry, I'm getting to you in a second.
Oh, your problem. No
Do
problem.
you we were in the Persian Gulf, or we were in the Navy when when he fired that shot at that distance that they talked about in that movie. Because I
Really?
remember all of a sudden they're talking about this guy who made a shot at like whatever it was, some ungodly distance. In the movie, he shot him through a screen or through a blanket or whatever. But uh the that was such a good like shot that we even heard about it on stateside, you know. That's kind of cool.
Vote for
Anyway,
Hacksaw Ridge as number one. Brian. Oh, it's a good movie, man. It's a really good movie. It's not my number one though.
Fat
Hmm.
Electrician. I'll have to look it up.
Check out the Fat Electrician on YouTube, huh? Okay. All right.
Yankees are still up 3-2
Thank God.
in the top of the sixth.
Yeah, still got a
Or
lot of
they're
ball
in
left to play.
Cleveland.
They are in Cleveland. All right, my number one. Like I said, all three of my top three, all my top three are Navy movies, and I actually saw this movie recently. I've always wanted to see it. It came on Prime. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna watch it, dude. And this was probably the best movie I've ever seen when it comes to military. I know you guys will probably disagree with me, like this Hacksaw Ridge and all this stuff, and
Is it Battleship?
American Sniper. No, it's not Battleship. It's not Battleship, but it
That movie just
actually
bothered me. Anyway, go ahead.
it has to. It's a very significant battle in World War II. It 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 shifted the balance of naval power from Japan to the
Man,
United States.
I think I know
It,
what you're gonna say. Go ahead.
Midway,
Yeah.
Midway. That's
The original Midway or the newer one?
the
Because
newer one. I like the old one. The old one's
I haven't
good,
seen
but
the new one.
the new one is fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic, and that's what I saw. That's my number one is Midway, um, and I'm sticking with that. So if you guys haven't seen it, see it, please.
Yeah, I have
Watch
to
it.
check it out. The original movie was really good,
Mhm.
and um, yeah, it's pretty crazy. I haven't seen it.
When you if you
No one
think about
cares about the
this,
Yankees. Amen. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
if you think about this, the United States of America only had two carriers at that time. That's it, just
That's
two.
it.
That's it, in their Pacific Fleet.
I thought they had way more than that because they got them all out. They got
At
them
the,
all
at the
out
time,
of
it was
Pearl
only two.
Harbor.
It was only two or three. But Japan had over 8.
Yeah.
Dude, awesome. Joshua Paul, what's up, dude?
Who is that guy?
The OG Midway was excellent.
It was.
Yes.
It was good.
Yep, the
I,
old Midway was good.
I didn't
The
even
new
know
one,
there. I didn't even think about a new one until you said it, and I was like, oh, wait a minute, there was a new one. That's right. There's a movie. Okay, it's science fiction. It's not even a war movie. I would never put it on this list, but
Star
it
Trek.
was. Yeah, that's better than Star Wars. But I can get my 11-year-old just fired up. He gets so mad at me when I tell him Star Trek's better than Star Wars. Just anyway, but anyway, so there's a movie called The Final Countdown. It's a B movie from the 80s. It's a sci-fi movie. And the
Mhm.
idea is that this brand new carrier called the USS Nimitz leaves Hawaii, and all of a sudden, like they're acting like this, and there's like lights and strobe, and they find themselves like December 6th, 1941, right off the coast of Hawaii. And then they have to decide, do they intervene or do they not? And it's like, it's so silly, but it's such a good. I've always enjoyed that movie. Has anybody else got any other movies that we didn't mention that you is your give us your top couple. Just throw them out there. There's only 9 people watching, so Men of Honor, not a war movie, but excellent. So we're going to talk about Men of Honor in a minute when we're done here. Um, it's a military movie. Yeah, there's plenty. Final Countdown. I don't know if he's right that because I said it or Teresa Smith.
Teresa Smith is my cousin. Hey, Teresa.
So, absolutely, I've never seen that movie, Brian. Absolutely.
I've never seen the movie yet.
Final Countdown's a great movie, though. If you ever get a chance to watch it, it's silly, but you know, no, it don't even have that song in it. You think it would, but it don't. The whole time, Iron Eagle. You know,
Iron Eagle's a good movie,
what about,
bro. Yep.
have you seen the new Top Gun movie? I haven't seen it.
I have. Maverick.
Is it good?
It's good. Yes.
Yeah. Bat 21. Not seen it.
I definitely. DeCarlo Stanton just homer to left. Judge and Sato scored, so that means what?
6-2.
8-3.
Wait, no, 6. It was. Well, let me refresh it.
Oh, 6. Yeah, 6. It was 6-2.
Yeah, it was 6-2. It was 3-2. Yeah. So.
Yeah, go Yankees.
What game is this? This is game 4. Game 4. 2-1.
Yeah, it's 2-1.
Just no Subway Series is all I care about. That's all I care about. I was kind of hoping Kansas City could do it just simply because there's a pitcher for Kansas City named Will Smith who won with the Braves, he won 3 in a row with 3 different teams: Braves, Astros, Rangers, and if he could have won with the Royals, he would have won 4 straight championships with 4 different teams, and nobody's ever done that. People have won 3 straight with 3 different teams in other sports, never in baseball. But I am a graduate.
Derek, shut your face.
Bat 21. Bat 21. Never heard of it. Let's look it up.
That's the second time. Chief said Bat 21, and now Underwood said it. So I'm going to have to write that down. There's 3 movies that, there's 3 movies that everyone's talking about that I haven't seen yet. It's 12 Strong, 13 Hours, and Bat 21. I'm going to have to watch all 3 of those.
It looks like Gene Hackman is in that. Yep, Gene Hackman. It says Lieutenant Colonel something Ham, Seal Ham, is a weapons countermeasures expert, and his aircraft is shot down on enemy or territory the Air Force very much wants to get. Blah blah blah. Can't get no more out of it. It has a Rotten Tomato rating of 82%, which means nothing. I trust a Rotten Tomato rating not at all. Another movie I did not put on the list that I really wanted to, Sergeant York. Great movie, great story. Old school. Okay, what was the guy's name that played?
What about Patton?
Patton's a great movie too. Patton's a great story too.
Dude, we gotta. I don't know if 10 is good enough.
It's not.
I think we need to redo this and do it.
We'd have to do. No, I think what we'd have to do.
Hurt Locker, Joe. Yes.
Chris Rock is not a fan of Will Smith.
So well, maybe.
Did you see the clip? It was like in a movie. Like they copied what was in a movie from like the early 2000s. Like keep my wife's name out your mouth. That was like in a movie from a long time ago. It was like a dead on like copy of that. Like maybe they thought nobody watched it. I don't know. We would probably have to do a top 10 per war. And even that would be difficult.
That's actually not a bad idea.
That would be really difficult. Because it's still even that. Uncommon Valor. Not seen that one.
So I don't even think do you think there is 10 movies about the Revolutionary War? It's probably done 10 documentaries.
I know what's number 1, The Patriot.
Yeah.
I don't know if there are 10. What is any War of 1812 movies?
I don't think so.
They were interviewing all the British people recently about the War of 1812, and none of them never even heard of it. And so when I was in high school, we had a Japanese exchange student. Her name was Yaki Masuda. I don't know why I remember that, we got into U.S. history. We got to World War II. She's over crying. Nagasaki, Hiroshima. Yeah, she's crying. And somebody says, well, kind of started it. Y'all kind of started that. And she's like, "What do you mean we started it?" And so they showed about Pearl Harbor, and she knew nothing about Pearl Harbor at all. And
That's
really makes me
unfortunate.
really makes me wonder, what do we not know about what's going on out there that we ain't got a clue is happening?
Very
So
true. Very
makes you
true.
wonder. Makes you wonder. So
All right,
Guardians.
so there's
I
our
mean,
top
I
10.
mean, Yankees lost.
No, we didn't. Brian, shut your face.
I think the biggest travesty is changing the name from Indians to the Guardians. That's crazy. It's so hard for me not to say that. Just call them Cleveland now.
No,
I don't like
you
the
know,
logo. I hate the logo. I hate the logo.
you hate
I
them
like
because
I
stop
like the
drinking the
stadium.
haterade.
I hate this. I don't hate them. I just hate the
Uh,
logo. They got the
Well,
G with the wings on it. It's just kind of weird.
oh yeah, no, the Guardians. Guardians of what? Cleveland? Give me a break. And
What
you
is
know
it?
what? Also
Yeah.
the movie Midway. You know, Chief, you'd probably constitute this. Back me up on
He
this. Is that
wasn't there.
I know, but just he wasn't there. He doesn't know much.
Sorry.
He
He's not
wasn't
that
there.
old. I mean, no, we're
But it also shifted. It also kind of changed the way we fought
right.
in naval
Yeah.
battles because back then we used to rely heavily on battleships, and because of that specific, yeah, we did.
No, I'm just
We started
boosting.
fight. We started fighting more with aircraft carriers after that. So we
Right.
didn't rely much on battleships anymore after that because all the dogfights and whatnot, aircraft carriers.
2019.
Where you going, Chief?
Woody Harrelson was in that movie. I didn't. Oh yeah. Yes, I've seen clips of it. I have not seen the whole movie. So, do you remember? This ain't a uh, Space Force. Do you remember the story about a guy who's it was a World War II story where a guy, he wasn't even really a gunner's mate, but they were getting attacked and people were getting killed, and he wound up running up there trying to help load up the bullets and the shells and projectiles and all that stuff, and he wound up getting hit, and he was having to hold his guts in while he was loading. Do you remember that story?
Jesus, holy
Because
moly,
we
that's a
were
man.
we were in when I was working, it was in Moss Bluff and down just which is just south of me when I was working in the south district of our area. That was on the History Channel. One day was eating lunch, and I'd remembered the story, but I can't remember the guy's name now. And you start looking that up, and it just doesn't come up the way I want it to. Uh, but they gave the guy a Medal of Honor, and because he helped actually keep the. Um, that's right, Chief. I was thinking something was going on with you. So I'll reach out to you. I want to reach out to you in a day or two.
My prayers are with you, Chief.
Yes, sir. We're praying for you.
Get some rest.
Um, anyway, so it was just such a crazy story to think that your guts are falling out and you're holding on to them and keeping somebody from.
Dude, that's hardcore.
And actually, because he was doing that, it kept them in the battle. It kept them from losing. So it's just nuts. So you guys follow us on Facebook. I mean, if you're watching this, you're either watching this on Facebook or YouTube. YouTube's another way of doing it. We can go straight the way this system I got right now. What we're doing live is streaming into YouTube and into Facebook. And if there ever comes a time when we can't do it on Facebook, it will be on YouTube. So we're on both. And we also a few weeks ago, it's been a while. We've been busy. We did a sit down with Norm Norad, if you guys remember that guy from the ship, and he talked about the VA stuff and went over it. And so it's on the podcast, on the 04 Level Aft podcast, and all that jazz. That was fun. That was a good time sitting around talking to him, getting some good information. But
if you haven't followed us yet, please follow us and leave a review. That's a big thing that we'd like you to do, guys. Is leave a review if you can. Let us know what you think. Good, bad, or indifferent.
Yes. Also, email us at overlevelaft@gmail.com. And we kind of, so this is kind of the beginning, right? And so we're busy. We both work. We both have a lot of stuff going on in our lives, and we're coming into the holiday season. And it's going to be even crazier. And what do you guys want us to do? This is part of, you guys help drive this. You guys, well, if you guys don't watch, we don't do it. We might do it. We might not put it on Facebook, but like, what do you guys want us to talk about? Do you guys want to talk about the time on Lake Champlain more, or do you want to talk about um, the PTSD, or do you guys what do y'all want to talk about? Like, give us some ideas.
Yes.
Cesar Malpica.
What's up, Caesar? Derek, I know how to use a phone. Sometimes.
Jay Beck, you got time to talk? Well, am I talking too much? Probably.
It's Brian's way of saying, John,
shut up. So give me a story, Jay. Tell a smoke deck story. I don't have to be in it. Let's hear it.
No. We're about to sign off. I got kids upstairs. My wife left me, so.
Oh no.
The hour's here. Yeah.
Oh, what time
my cousin
Oh,
Teresa
wow.
Smith. Teresa Smith that was here. Her Teresa Smith, she was in here for a couple minutes.
Yep.
Her daughter Nicole, who's my second cousin's, her birthday today. So Shauna went out to see her on her birthday. And
happy birthday.
Happy birthday, birthday, birthday.
Did you ever see that video where the two girls were doing a live stream and somebody wrote in the chat to say happy birthday to Nick Gurr? Spaced it. She said happy birthday to and she's like oh man.
And
Cesar,
if anybody is in this chat, just look down and see what Christopher Underwood just said. And that basically is Norm to a T. Okay.
Let's read it.
When Underwood there it is. He was chasing the new guys around birthing naked. That right there is Norrid.
I can't remember the guy's name. I think was it Lopez, maybe? Anyway, he was in my aisle in the birthing, and he would just love to flash people.
FC2?
2 or 1.
Yeah, he was FC2 when I first got aboard. He was in my division.
I would imagine. I think it was.
That's probably why him and Norm got along so well. John's wife was at Great Lakes with us.
Yes, most likely. She no. I'm sorry. Stupid Brian Delhunter. Nick Get. Anyhow,
it's okay.
Christina was
I think Brian's on his 5th bottle of wine now.
Yeah. Christina was in Great Lakes at the same time you were. So Christina got out of boot camp, and she was one of the many people, if you remember back in the day that got sent TAD to a ship for like 3 or 4 months. And then thank God she did, because otherwise she would have been out of the system by the time I got to Great Lakes, and I'd have missed her. So it worked out. Her last name was Anderson. And that's why I'm in Louisiana, is because that's where she's from.
Derek probably knows, because Judy Hampton was part of the crowd too. I think Derek knew her too, along with Tommy Galliano. So
yep. Christina and I have been married for 24 years. We got married. We started dating in Dahlgren in C school.
Your wife is a saint.
Yes, she has to be. Put up with me. And 5. Read recently that a glass of wine, there's 5 glasses of wine in a bottle, and that a glass of wine is equal to a beer, but there's only 5 or 6 ounces in a glass of wine. And I realized that the concentration of alcohol in that bottle is like way worse than, like, golly, like, I remember people drinking 2 or 3. And I don't know if Boone's Farm's the same. I remember that's the only kind of wine I liked. And the rest of it didn't taste good. I feel like I know her. Pretty sure that's cool. If you
Love you too, Brian.
I don't know if I have a. Yeah, love you too. Let me see if I can find a. Give me a minute. I know you got to go, so I'm gonna see if I can pull up a old school picture of her from the back in the day. That
Back
what in
into
the world?
Disney.
Well, she don't look the same. I don't think none of us do really. Anyway, I have to. I don't know that guy. So Derek Smith, was he? Um, you said y'all were in A school together. Y'all basic too.
Yes. Yep. A school.
I wish I could get that pop up. Anyway, so
Don't let the face fool you. He's a good guy. He looks kind of freaky, but he's a good guy.
but oh yeah, I can do it this way. So I can do this. There's me and the Bruce the Goose
Hey, look at
Taylor
the Taylor man.
on the Lake Champlain when
He's
they
getting gang signs.
yeah, back when he was I'm just gonna flow through here. Try to find. There's a picture of maybe what she would have looked like back in the day. That was a long time ago too. She shaved her head now. She has no hair on her head at all. So, oh yeah, I'm gonna scroll through here. This was me. This was me about I don't know, about 10 years ago. Remember I told you that one day we wore our uniforms to church and did a Veterans Day deal? That was
Yep.
then. And in this army town to walk around in that uniform for a couple hours was pretty cool.
Probably a tough thing to do, huh?
It was fun. I enjoyed it. Everybody was really cool about it. Like, there's the sonar dome. It's kind of neat. I don't have pictures. Anyway, there's all just a bunch of family pictures I got from back in the day.
Cool.
But how do I close it? How do I close it? Let's see what the score is. 6-2. I don't even know how to. I don't even know how to close it now. Exit.
All right, brother.
Okay, man.
My time. Listen,
it was good to see you. Oh, there's how to do it.
Brian D, Bruce,
Anybody
Derek.
still on?
It's easier if you're still on, man. It was great seeing you guys.
If you want to see good pictures of fish, follow Malpica. That dude's catching fish all the time. It makes me jealous.
All right, guys. We're gonna think about a next top 10. Give us a shout and give us some ideas about our next top 10.
And if you guys want to be a guest on the actual podcast, shoot us an email. The way the system we have right now set up, we really need a webcam. Unfortunately, I don't have any other way of doing that. So once we got to put more money into this, I just got to save money, but then we can do it other ways. But if you have a webcam and you want to hop on, let us know. We'll do it. And but anyway, so y'all have a wonderful weekend.
All right, guys. God bless. Fair winds and foul seas, guys. Later.
See you.
See you.
Hold on, Jim.